Hello, and welcome to the fifth installment of the CHCA podcast, the Colorado Climate Association podcast. We're with your usual hosts, Wasting Robin 586, myself, and Car Gamer 81CO, also known as Joe. Hey, that rhymed.
Hello.
We are going to be talking about the things that happened at Land's End. Obviously, that was the last event. We're going to talk about stuff that happened there, times, points, etc. And we're going to be talking about what we're going to look for at C.O.R.E 2 coming up here in September. All right. Before we get into what happened at Land's End, I know I just said we were going to talk about that, but I want to talk about something with Joe here. How's your car coming along?
That's why I didn't show up to Land's End. It's getting there, so hopefully in the next few weeks I'll have everything done and paint. I hope. Still got a lot of stuff to do through the winter, but that's mostly like chassis stuff.
Yeah. Well, depending on how much it snows, right?
Yeah, I still got the garage, but I can't paint in the winter with a wood stove. Might blow myself up.
All right, just wanted to check in, touch base on your car and see how you're coming along, because I know you're planning on racing next year, and just wanted to see how you're doing on that aspect. But getting into it.
Yep, I hope it goes good.
Yes, I hope it does too. Getting into it. Rally Turbo. Fast qualifier was actually Tasso Coach, and Abby French. I know mispronounce his name every time. He commented on the last one, and I'm like, I don't know how to say his last name. But he did a 5:13.93, and I believe the record, if it's a 4 something, I think. It is, yeah, it's a 4:52. So he was a bit off the record, but Land's End records are really hard to get. But moving on to what happened at race day, 1, 2, 3 was Tasso Coach, I don't know, with a 5:08. Dave Kern second with a 5:12, and Chris Strouch actually with his new rally car. I don't know if you saw that on Facebook, but he's got a new rally car. He ended up finishing third in the rally turbo class with a 5:24. So these are all really quick times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, these are all really quick times for the rally cars. Now, I don't know, did you hear what happened to Chris?
No, I didn't.
Well, there's a video on Facebook, I believe it's in CHCA Racing Memories, of him, or I saw it somewhere, but it's of him going off the road. He did have an off, unfortunately, on Sunday during his open competition run, because he did double enter. The car didn't look too bad. I mean, all the glass was still held together, surprisingly. Because he rolled the car, so you wouldn't expect the car to have glass in it if you roll it. But yeah, it didn't look too bad. I think it's definitely fixable by C.O.R.E. So I hope to see him out there. Yeah, hope to see a lot of people out of C.O.R.E. But those were the rally cars. Yeah. Do you have anything you want to say on that?
That was from what the pictures and videos I've seen. Looked like an awesome time. So.
Well, indeed, it was. It was for the rally.
Bummer I couldn't make it this year.
Yes, it was actually a really, really good road. I'll get into it later, but it was really sticky and really fast. People were saying it's the best road they'd ever seen at Land's End, so that was a positive to the weekend. It was really fast, and we were getting really quick times. On to Comp Truck now. I don't know, were you there around when Jimmy Olsen was still driving in CHCA?
Sounds very familiar with the guy with the blazer.
Yeah, him.
Isn't he from Buena Vista?
No, he is located in Denver-ish, the Denver area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He showed up. Well, the truck, the blazer that he ran was actually his father's. It is now his. So he'll be running it from here in the future. I don't know how long or what, but he said he's still planning to race it in CHCA. So He ended up showing up for the first time in 4 years, I believe. And he was top qualifier in comp truck, and he was the fastest comp truck that we had on the mountain on Sunday with a 5:05.87. That is 9 seconds off the record. The record's a 4:56.76. But that's a fast time, especially, and he won from a 4-year period. What do you think about that? He took a 4-year break and he comes back and wins.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, I was just happy to see a couple pictures of the truck. I was like, oh, that truck's back.
Yes, it was. We also had Dick DeVries show up. I don't know if you remember their Ford. I believe they're Ford Rangers. The number 6 and 77 truck. I don't know if you remember those. But
yep, I do.
The number 6 truck showed up to Land's End. He ended up qualifying second overall, or second in class, but ended up finishing just outside the podium. Or did he get on the podium? No, he did get on the podium. I'm sorry. Correct myself there. He got on the podium, third place. He went from second to third on race day. Did a 5:34.11, or 5:25.71. Sorry, I read the wrong time. But it was a good battle, actually, between first and second, because Dustin McNeil, who is also very quick, he qualified third.
There was also another truck, wasn't there?
Okay.
I only seen I seen the front end of a 80s Ford. I don't know.
Yes, that guy does off-road stuff.
Oh, it looked cool.
Yeah, and he lives in Grand Junction, so he said, why not do a race that's in my backyard? So that's how he ended up showing up to the race, because I met him on Thursday night when we got there, and he seems like a pretty cool dude. I don't know, I don't really think we'll see him at any races other than Land's End, because his truck is built for off-road, and I know we race off-road, but I mean like Baja stuff, not CHCA. But anyways, back to Dustin McNeil.
So awesome that he made it.
Yes, back to Dustin McNeil. He finished second in competition truck with a 5:13.33. That's his first loss at the races he's shown up to, because he's shown up to Temple Canyon, Monarch, and Land's End. He won Temple Canyon and Monarch, but unfortunately got beat at Land's End. What do you think about that? Because he's your BV boy.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't win them all, but either way, I mean, he did a good job.
I'm excited the battle arise as we move forward. Someone else I want to talk about, or I want more people in this class, Tim Walker Jr. I know you talked to him after the event. Why don't you explain a little bit about how his weekend went?
He just said he had some shifter problems. Larry Thompson, 24 Sportsman's Guard, helped him out a little bit, but the shifter wasn't exactly the same, so that didn't end up working out. But I like the paint. I'm glad he got it painted, and it looks good. And sometimes you got to work out the kinks with the car. I mean, he just got it built, so.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Another guy I want to talk about in this is Dave Meyer. On Saturday, he actually broke his transmission on his second run of the day, so he was done for the rest of the day. I mean, he didn't even get a qualifying time. So a buddy of his, Ray Robinson, I guess a buddy of everybody's, Ray Robinson, helped him out, loaned him a transmission, and I think that's how it went down. And he was back up Sunday, ready to go racing. Now, he finished just off the podium at a 5:30.39. He was 4 seconds from getting podium position. That's tough to see. I would have liked to have seen him get the podium. He's been getting the podium all year. He even won at C.O.R.E. So it was disappointing to see that finish for me, at least from my perspective. But that class was really competitive. It looks like we had 8 entries for the not open competition, for the competition truck class. That's the highest I've ever seen it, I think. I don't know about you.
For a long time, that's for sure.
Yes, we had 8 entries in the competition truck class. That was also a very fun class to watch. Especially for me. I like big noise cars, so those trucks make a lot of noise. Now, I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away from anyone else, but those trucks do make a lot of noise, and they're the first V8s in our series, so it's cool to see them take off. And because I'm stuck in the pits all day, but I digress. On to Super Sprint. Now, the record in this class is a 4:45.22 set by Todd Cook. And when that record was set, I believe the rules were different, so that Super Sprint cars could go faster than they can now. I said Todd Cook. I want to talk to him. He, on his first run of the day on Saturday, he brought 2 cars because he thought someone else was going to rent his other car. And it didn't pan out, so and on his first run of the day on Saturday, he ends up breaking his shift rail, I think. Yes, shift rail. Then he decided to take his second car off the trailer because no one was driving it, and he ended up qualifying in his class after that. I mean, that's a pretty good skill to me, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, that was an interesting story, definitely. The cross cart was there again. I know you thought that thing was pretty cool, and it's pretty fast.
Yeah, I've never seen one in my whole life, and I thought it was interesting for sure.
And
The Monarch, and then
yeah.
I seen a little video of it today on CHCA Memories. So
Yeah, I thought it was well. He's looking to start his own class next year for CHCA, so hopefully we'll see a few more cross carts in the next year. I think that would be good for the club. Speaking of the cross cart, on Friday night there was a racers meet at the Mesa Mall near Famous Dave's, and they actually had a simulator set up. So I believe it was like they had the driver of the cross cart set a fast time, and if you beat that time, you got a T-shirt for free because they sell T-shirts. But they had it set on Spa, I think, in Spain, and his time was like a 1:59, and you're in like a Formula One car. I can't remember the detail, but that was a cool little thing for people to do at the racers meet and look at the cars and have a good time. The racers meet was good, by the way. You missed the.
I imagine I did. I mean, like, I really wish I could have made it, but I will be there next year, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. But anyways, he ended up beating Todd Cook on Sunday with a 4:59.98, the only super sprint in the fours, and he barely got in the fours. He got in the fours by 0.02 of a second. That's insane. But yeah, he beat Todd Cook. He got first, and Todd Cook got second. And on here it says the 28 car got third, which I don't know if you know about this, but Dan Novembre and Rodney O'Malley were sharing a ride. Dan was driving in the open competition class, and Rodney was driving in the super sprint class. And Rodney actually got the better of Dan in his own car. I think that's funny. Because 28 was Dan's car, and Rodney was driving Dan's car, and he actually got the better of him. He did a 5:19.60, which was good enough for third. And it was good to see Rodney driving that fast, because I don't actually, that might be a personal best for him, but yeah. Also, we had Mitch Snow in that class. It was his first race back since Temple Canyon when he rolled. It was good to see him back out on the track. He finished, I think, he finished second to last in Super Sprint class with a 5:43.28. It was good to see him back. I know his car, he was having issues with his car, but it was good to see him back. It's good to see people come back, yeah, even if they have incidents.
Here's on that one. I mean, there's going to be a lot more growth, I hope, within the next years, and every class I enjoy. I mean, there was the old Baja truck. Well, they weren't Baja trucks. They were like rock crawlers, and they were interesting. I mean, a little sketchy in corners, but
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know what you mean. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, there's some growth. Hopefully, we can grow the stock car class. And speaking of the stock car class, that's what we're going to talk about next. So, at Monarch, here we're going to talk about the story here. At Monarch, Jimmy Ford comes up to us Saturday night while we're eating dinner, and he goes, "Hey, well, I'll give you the gist." He goes, "Hey, can I have a set of Hoosiers to run in the stock car class?" And Spencer goes, "Sure, why not?" Anyways, it didn't work out. Jimmy didn't take the tires from us at Monarch, but then I messaged him before Land's End, and I said, "Hey, do you still want these tires?" And he goes, "Yes, bring them, please." So we did, and we ended up giving them to him. And Jimmy didn't qualify the best in stock car class. He qualified third. That was without the Hoosier tires. And on Sunday, first run, he put the Hoosier tires on, the Hoosier, specials. And he beat everybody by 10 seconds in his class on the first run.
yeah, I haven't even looked at the results. I just checked out the pictures and videos and stuff. But wow, good job, Jimmy.
Yeah. He beat Mike McGee by, looks like 7 seconds in the stock car class, that's insane, because Mike McGee is no slouch. He's fast.
Yeah, Mike's the champion.
He's fast. Well, Jimmy's taking the throne from him, it seems like, because he got him in the stock car class.
It sounds like it.
But Jeff Pierce ended up third in the stock car class with a 5:32.32, and yeah, that was the stock car class. Yeah, crazy what tires can do for you on quads.
Oh, okay.
We had a pretty deep field of quads this weekend. We had 8 quads, and Chad Hazelton, who I believe placed 3rd or 4th at Temple Canyon, showed up here, and he ended up taking the cake. No, he didn't. I'm sorry. That was Troy Smith. Troy Smith ended up taking the cake. Chad Hazelton qualified first, but Troy Smith got the better of him on a race day with a 5:16.96. All right, think about that. Troy Smith did a 5:16.96, and Jimmy Ford did a 5:17.39. So that means.
And your point is.
That means Troy Smith went faster on a quad up Land's End than Jimmy Ford did in a sportsman car on Hoosier tires. That's insane.
Quads can
That is
haul ass,
insane, man.
Those guys can ride.
Third, we had Tyler Portillo with a 5:24.62. That's like as fast as Mike McGee.
And girls, I forgot.
Yeah. Well, Kira Gibson, the female in the quad class, didn't end up doing the best. She finished with a 5:35.37. Basically good enough for 7th place, 7th place. Which,
Either way, gotta try.
that's still fast. That still covers like half the field, but, I don't know. All right. That's exhibition. Or that's quads. Sorry, not exhibition. We're moving to exhibition. Exhibition. We actually had 2 razors show up this weekend. So it seems like we're getting more and more interest going up with razors to CHCA events. I know that there used to be a couple that showed up every event who were consistent. See them coming back, wanting to play with us. Don't you think so?
I'm just, like I said, I'd like to see the rise of our numbers, for sure.
Yeah, and it's good to see a variety, not just building the same stuff. Like Camaro, right? We don't just want all the Camaros.
Yep, I agree. I love my open wheels too, man.
But fast qualifying time was...
Trucks.
Yeah, trucks. Fast qualifying time in exhibition was by none other than Spencer Steele. I bet you could have guessed that. With a 4:48, which he was the only one in the... No, he wasn't. He wasn't the only one on the Saturday, but it's the first one in the 4s on Saturday. And I knew it was a good road for Land's End because his first run of the day, he actually did a 4-minute time, which usually he doesn't do a 4-minute time till Sunday, so I could run. Second was Trevor Stewart. He did a 5.5. Third was Paul Dallenbeck at like a 5.15 for qualifying. But on race day, Guess who won? Please, for me.
Well, we either got Dallenbeck or you. And
We
I'm pretty sure by watching Devo's video today, you guys were first. So
Well, you
first overall.
Can't forget Trevor Stewart. Trevor Stewart's usually in the mix. He qualified second us.
Yeah, I watched his video. Wasn't his video yesterday? Or the day before? On Devo's channel?
Whose?
Trevor.
That's Paul's.
Oh, okay. He's got the same shifter as my car.
Well, the same transmission, I believe, right? What transmission are you running?
TH350.
Oh, well, he's triple 400.
Yeah, that's a little better built.
But he finishing second in that class with a 450.24. All right, think about that. Just to get second in that class, you had to do under a 4-minute 50-second time. That is insane at Land's End. On a 5-mile course.
That's moving.
Yeah, definitely.
Very fast.
But Spencer had to better that, and he did a 440.65.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quick.
And actually, you didn't know this, I don't think. I don't think I told you. Trevor Stewart was putting together a Vegas trip for the person who could pick closest to the fastest time of weekend. And Deb Cohen-Hoffpower actually ended up winning that because she chose a 440.98 and the fastest time of the weekend was a 440.65. So, good on her. I hope she has fun. She gets 2 nights at the Bellagio and 2 tickets to a show. So, I hope she has fun with that. It's funny because she cruised for Paul Dallenbach.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it is. It is. She cruised for Paul Dallenbach and Spencer Steele win that. Whatever. That's funny. I think. Yeah, and then Dennis Dermis, yeah, that's his name. Finished third in the Razor X Razor with a 5:16.09. So he was as well. The Rally 2-wheel drive. Now, we had 3 rally cars in the Rally 2-wheel drive class. This is your favorite class, right?
Yeah, I love the.
He was actually there this weekend, number 419. He finished third he finished third in class with a 6:02.96. And Ryan McLaughlin and Drew Miner ended up finishing first with a 5:34.42. Sorry, 5. Wow. I just noticed this, but Ryan McLaughlin and Drew Miner ran a run within 1/100th of a second. So basically, their 2 runs only had 1/100th of a second difference. That's consistency right there.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but a golf car, Volkswagen Golf showed up. I don't know his name. I'm sorry. He finished second in class with a 5:42.47. So that was a good rally race. It was good to see them show back up after Monarch. I know that they didn't want to show up after Monarch, they didn't want to show up after, but that didn't affect this race, so they ended up showing up, and they had a good time, I believe. Yeah, that was the Rally 2-wheel drive class. On to the Super Stock Truck class. This is one of your favorite classes. I know you like them Super Stock Truck boys.
I like trucks.
We had 6 entries in the Super Stock Truck class. What do you think about that?
Well, that's a good number. It'd be awesome to see maybe a couple more coming around in the next year. I do have somebody that keeps asking me about the rules and stuff, and he wants to run S10 or something in the next few years. So, and he's got just the time for him because he owns a business.
I gotcha. I understand what you're saying. But we had the Purple People Eater, as it was named, the Dodge Rampage, the El Camino looking thing, come back out. I know it raced in the early 90s, I think. I can't remember. It was before my time. I know that. But he came out and raced, and he had a good showing. He qualified second in the class with a good time, because he qualified second, obviously. I believe. Yeah. Brian Packard and your favorite truck in that class, The yellow Chevy
I
qualified
love my
first.
old trucks, man.
Yep. And then we had Levi Packard third and Ray Robinson fourth. And yeah, that was the battle really. Other two trucks in that class had some issues this weekend, so they didn't really get a good time in. But on Sunday, first run of the day, Levi Packard in the 17 S10, the blue one, ended up rolling his truck, from what I heard. And, yeah, I heard he was okay, but that really hurt him points. Actually, leading into this event, he was first in points in Superstock Truck, but since he didn't get a finish on Sunday, he's not going to do very well in the points there. So Ray Robinson actually took the lead in points this weekend, but Brian Packard ended up finishing first in that class. Wow, with a 5:44.89. And the Purple People Eater finished second, which was really surprising because it was his first race, his first race out in years. So finishing second in that class, which is a very competitive class, was very good. And then Ray Robinson was third, which puts lead with a 6 minutes 68. So that was pretty good. That was a good battle between the trucks. And I know you like those trucks, so you would have liked this coming out this weekend and seeing all the trucks.
I'm just surprised with that little Mopar Purple Eater, People Eater.
Purple People Eater?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. Like, you know, I never really thought the El Caminos and stuff like that were in truck class, like we talked, but I always thought they were in car class, but...
Well, let's talk about that.
There we go.
So you said like we talked. I know you said there was an El Camino that used to race when you were around when you were younger. And what class did you think it was in?
Yeah, Butte. I always thought it was in sportsman's class or stock car class or something, but maybe it was in truck class. I was so young, I could barely see the numbers on the side of the car from where we were.
Well, that was just your parents trying to keep you safe, right?
Yeah, and that was like the big gathering area back in the day at U Trail. Like, there's a big, massive field. If you guys haven't seen the video on my YouTube channel, I actually drove it in my up U Trail in my Dodge Dakota, and it kind of shows like the old racetrack, like from beginning to end.
Yeah, that was a cool video. I've seen that one. But yeah, I understand what you mean. You were too young to really know what class was what, or what cars went in what class.
Yeah. I mean, like, literally last year when I started going to the races again is when I actually started learning, like, for real. And then you've helped me a little bit too, and Jimmy Ford and everybody else. So thank you all.
Well, you're welcome. I don't know the classes that well either. I just know kind of where they go. And it helps that I have the running order memorized. So what class is where, or what cars are in what class. I can tell by where they are in the running order, because there's a specific running order for CHCA. It changes every year though, so it's usually never the same. But that was the super stock truck class. On to open competition. I guess the most, well, I find it the most prestigious class of the CHCA, because usually they're the guys going for the top time. But I think you know who qualified and won first place, right?
Well, duh.
Yeah, it was Spencer Steele. He's been on a tear this year, for whatever reason.
You guys have been doing good. I mean, you guys did good at Mount Washington. You guys did good in New Zealand. You guys are doing really good. And I think Spencer's just a really focused, experienced driver. He doesn't need to give it full throttle all the time. You know, like, he knows where to preserve himself, you know. Like, I watched the video today, and it was just like, wow, that guy knows how to drive.
Well, he's only been doing it for 18 years, so you'd think he'd learn by now.
Right? Yeah, I hear you.
So actually, it was interesting, this class. The top 3 qualifiers in this class were separated by only 15 seconds, I think, and Trevor Stewart was third, and he was just getting used to his car, because they did bring a different car out, a bigger horsepower car to Land's End. I know that once he learns that car, he's going to be fast. And he's going to be a guy to watch out for. But he was just really learning it this weekend, so he wasn't really pushing it that hard. But he ended up breaking a push rod on the first run on Sunday, so he didn't get a finish at all, which is unfortunate to see. And you hate to see people go out like that and then have other people take the podium because of that, because you want to see everybody get a good time in, and they do the best that they can. But when it's frustrating because you don't know what they would have done. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, you can't win them all. Shit happens. I mean, from what I've heard about my car back in the day in the 80s and 90s, the guy that used to drive it and stuff, they said he barely used to make it to, finish once or twice because he would break the car. So hopefully I'm a little more delicate to the car and know how to drive the car. And, well, that's going to take years, I know, but I just hope I can be safe with it.
Yes, definitely. And then Paul Dollenbach actually on Sunday ended up hurting an engine on the second run. Which, again, it's unfortunate to see, but that's racing. Yeah, I wish he would have put in a good time in open comp. That's what I'd like to see. All right, so we need to talk about something here in open comp. On the first run, which had a wreck at the finish line, and it caused us to have a red flag. All right.
Gotcha.
So they sent Paul Dollenbach in front of us. He pulled off at flag 1. Spencer's going up. He's having a bad run, worse than the first one that he got red flagged on, and he spins out and gets pretty close to the edge, and the red flag gets waved. But there was no one ahead of him, no one up above him that caused the red flag. So he caused his own red flag. What do you think about that?
I don't really know. I mean, kind of confused on that situation there.
Spencer spun out, and then they threw the red flag, basically, is what happened. At Spencer, because they threw the red... Well, what?
I mean, Chris did a 360 in front of me last year.
Yeah, but they didn't throw a red flag for him because he did that. Spencer got thrown a red flag because, for himself, it was a situation.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused myself. I guess I would have had to been there to see it.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Well, and we're all sitting at the bottom why did he get red flagged? And Trevor Stewart came over to us oh, it's Spencer. And we're like, what? He's coming back down. So we were everybody was confused. Even the safety guy, he's I'm trying to figure out why we have a red flag. Just an interesting thing that happened this weekend.
I agree.
Into Sportsman now, your favorite class. That's the car that you have. I expect you to beat everyone next year. Everyone. Mike McGee, Jimmy Ford.
That's not happening.
It might happen, but you need to take some...
No, it's not happening.
Well, you never know. You never know. You can't think like that. You gotta think, I gotta go as fast as I can. Anyways.
I just want to stay on the track and finish. That's my only goal.
Nice. That's a good goal to have for your first season. First place went to your buddy, Jimmy Ford, who ended up finishing with a 5:23.75. That was 10 seconds off the record. That wasn't on the Hoosier tires. You cannot run non-DOT tires, and basically you have to run DOT tires in Sportsman. That's what I'm trying to say.
Period.
Yes. Mike McGee was actually third, but he qualified first. Mike McGee did a 5:30.33 and had a DNF on the second run. But Justin Schumacher finished second with a 5:27.48. So the top three were really close. And I know that Mike McGee said that someone else was buying his Camaro and probably will race it in CHCA here pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be next year or the year after, but that'll be a good thing to see another sportsman car in the sportsman class, don't you think?
Yep.
Yep.
I like to see racers
Yep.
and racing and race cars.
Yes, those are all good. Larry Thompson also showed up to his first race this season. He finished fourth in the sportsman class. It was a very competitive class, so yeah, it was all close racing, and that was a good thing to see. I don't know. Do you have anything you want to say about sportsmen from this past weekend?
No, I just wish I could have been there, guys.
Yeah, we were all missing you. Okay, Rally Light. We had 2 cars show up for the Rally Light class. I'm still unsure about this class. Mainly because the winner of the Rally Light class would have gotten 4th place or 5th place in the Rally Turbo class. So I still don't know how I feel about that. But the Brown brothers showed up. They unfortunately had an issue on Saturday and did not make it to race day Sunday. Had to pack it up early on Saturday and went home. But Steve Biss ended up finishing first place in the Rally Light class with a new record 5:38.42. Geez, 4:38. That would have been fast for a naturally aspirated rally car. But yeah, he set a new record of 5:38.42. That was a pretty quick time. Nothing really more to say about that class. And then we had Champ Car. We had Brian Hardman and Brady. Yeah, we had Brian Hardman and Kenny Brady. We had 2 Champ Cars. I know that you're to help a guy sell a Champ Car. You want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, it's actually for sale up on Colorado Circle Track Parts and Cars for sale, and I did post it on CHCA Memories. The guy is 82 years old. He just can't race no more. He wants to, but he knows he can't. And he's a really cool guy. The car has not been ran ever. He built it, lost a friend that was in CHCA a long time ago, back in the U-Trail days, and he lost a lot of contacts, but he used to know the Schultz and everything. So, I mean, like, he's a really cool guy. I'm pretty sure he would work out a deal with you. Even though I posted it at 8,000, I think it, if you talk to him, he would work with you negotiably.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I saw your post and I just wanted to talk a little about it because I know people like to watch this or listen to this podcast. A few people in particular. But the Champ Car, we had Brian Hardman, who ended up finishing first with a 5:24.48, and Kenny Brady was a little off the pace at a 5:43.71. I know this is only his second year racing that car, so he's still trying to figure out the tracks and his car and getting the setup right and going fast that way. And you just got to build up to it, build up to going fast. And I know you're probably going to do the same thing.
Pretty much. I mean, you just can't go all balls out your first season, especially. I mean, like, maybe some people can, but I'm not that risky yet. I guess I've learned a little over my age.
Yeah, you're doing enough body work already. You don't need to do more.
You got that.
Well, that was the Champ class. Last class we have to talk about for Land's End, motorcycle class. Now, we saw some familiar faces at Land's End for the motorcycle class. Donner Billingsley, who raced at Temple Canyon, showed up. He did a 6:21.76, which unfortunately was last place in the class, but he was having fun what he was doing. But we saw Cody Vaschholz show up. So it's been a while since a Vaschholz has shown up to a Colorado Hill Climbing race. And it was good to see a Vaschholz back in the club. Now, he actually set the record on the first race run at a 5, and on the second run he set it again at a 5:23.27, but he got beat out by Travis Newbold, my prediction to win the points this season in CHCA, at a 5:22 flat. So these guys, that's faster. That 522 flat on a bike is faster than Jimmy Ford's sportsman time, which that is insane. Like, I don't even know. I can't even comprehend how fast you're going on a motorcycle to beat a full-on sportsman-built car. I mean, don't you think that's
Well,
insane?
I started riding dirt bikes when I was like 12 years old. My brother was probably about 8, and we both love dirt bikes. We both know how to ride, but I will tell you, my brother would outride me anytime on a dirt bike. He's got a pretty badass two-stroke YZ 250 that he wants to run. I also wanted to run an older bike, which was a 73 360 DT Yamaha bike built for the dunes and Baja racing back in the day, but I just wanted a roll cage around me. I felt a little better about that.
Yeah. One thing I did want to mention, the rally all-wheel drive class. We did not see Jeff Register show up, so Jerry Kendall actually takes the points lead this weekend from Jeff Register. So if he shows up to C.O.R.E, it'll be a points championship wrapped up for him. Same with Spencer Steele. If he shows up to C.O.R.E, points championship for him. I believe Earl O'Malley is leading the super sprint class. So he's looking for back-to-back super sprint points championships because he won it last year. And I believe David Meyer is leading the points championship for comp truck. I'm not sure who's leading for quads. I don't know, honestly. I'm going to be honest. Exhibition doesn't have points. Rally two-wheel drive, Ryan McLaughlin is leading points. Superstock truck, like I said before, Ray Robinson is leading points. And open comp, we already talked about that. Rally light, I believe Dave Brown is leading in points because he showed up to Monarch. But don't quote me on that. And in motorcycles, Travis leading points. So there are your points leaders after Land's End. Let's talk a little bit about Core 2 before we wrap this up. I know you don't want to go to Core. Well, I don't want to. You're going to be working on your race car when Core is. I bet. Is that correct?
It's unfortunate that I can't make it to Core. I kind of live a little further away, and yes, I am going to be working on the car, but hopefully next year I can make it to at least one of the cores. It'd be a good way for me to learn the car a little better.
Yeah, definitely. That's what everybody was saying at Core 1. It's like, yeah, this is a good shakedown event for the season, and I completely agree. I know Jimmy Olsen, the winner of the comp truck class at Land's End, is planning on attending Core along with Mike McGee. He said he was planning on attending Core. Jimmy Ford will be there. Spencer Steele. I believe Jay Stewart will be there. Trevor Stewart said maybe. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of people at Core. It is in Deer Trail, Colorado. I don't know the exact address, but it's called Colorado Off-Road Extreme. It's a big area. We got a 5-mile, and actually, we are running Core 2 backwards from Core 1. So there will be 2 completely different tracks, and all the fastest times of the classes at Core 2 will be new records. So, and I'm curious to see what
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the time difference will be from the way we ran Core before and to the way we're gonna run now. I'm curious to see if we shave 10 seconds or if it's dinner. I'm just curious to see how that'll work out. But yeah, I think that is gonna wrap it up for this podcast. There's gonna be no racers meet for Core. I don't really know where you would have one. Maybe buyers, whatever. There's gonna be no racers meet for Core as of yet. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this podcast. Do you have anything you want to say before we end this off?
I will see what happens at Core. I won't be there this year. Hopefully next year I can at least fill the car out, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, it's good talking to you for this time. Thank you all for watching, guys. I'm glad to see this podcast has the support it does. I know Barry Trester and Trevor Stewart are definitely active listeners, along with Dave Brown, Tasso Coach. I think it's Coach. I know he listens to it. I hope to see everyone at Core. Again, thank you all for watching. This is a lot of fun for me to make. I think you have the same feeling, Joe, that it's fun to make.
Oh yeah, it's cool to check it out. I mean, like I haven't been to the race, so I mean, like just checking out the videos and pictures and sharing what about everybody's performance, and I think they all did good. So
Yeah, definitely. Well, again, thank you for watching. This has been the Colorado Hill Association podcast number 5, the Land's End wrap up and the C.O.R.E preview, C.O.R.E number 2 preview. But that is going to do it for our hosts, Wasting Robin 586 and Car Gamer 81CO. And I hope to see you guys out at C.O.R.E here on September 9th and 10th.